She consistently arrived home around that time on Thursdays, occasionally a bit earlier. It's crucial to stay vigilant. Without fail, he returned from his lodge meeting precisely at 10:15. It was like clockwork. Her father had introduced him to it. Initially, he agreed to please them both, but upon joining, he discovered his fondness for the civil service aspect. Excelling in organizing fundraisers and social events led to his nomination and election as chair of the scholarship committee on the Board of Governors. He devoted extensive time and effort to support and raise funds for the project, enabling 2 community college scholarships annually for deserving individuals. She ensured she appeared clean and presentable upon his arrival. Sometimes she was already in bed, but frequently she stayed awake, engaging in discussions about the previous day, the progress of the scholarship fund, and other mundane topics married couples typically converse about before sleeping. Occasionally they were intimate, but usually, they simply cuddled until drifting off. The first inkling that something might be amiss arose when she pulled into the driveway. Access to the garage was obstructed, his car was parked askew, blocking both entrances. An unsettling feeling washed over her as she stepped out. They had spoken just minutes earlier, confirming her arrival home. She adored this house. Despite her preference for apartment living, she had agreed to move here when her lease expired at his insistence. It was a relatively new 3-bedroom home nestled on a small plot of land. The porch, encircling the house, lent it a sense of grace. Positioned on the front porch was a swing beneath the ceiling fans. They often relaxed there, swaying gently on warm summer evenings. She discerned his intentions keenly. This was their familial abode. In her mind, she could envision the swings and kiddie pool in the enclosed backyard. One of her recent moments of utmost joy occurred last month while they were preparing a new flower bed. To catch his attention, she playfully tossed some soil at him. "Hey, you! What? Did I miss a spot?" "No, I just needed to tell you I was ready." "Not yet. We haven't added the fertilizer or lime. We need to mix them in before planting." "That's not what I meant. I'm ready to start a family." She chuckled inwardly as he playfully tackled her onto the soft flower bed. Their lovemaking afterward was tender, reflecting a deeper connection beyond physical intimacy. She felt profoundly loved, especially witnessing his uncharacteristic tears. He had always been composed, but this vulnerability surprised her. Stepping onto the porch, she approached the front door, striving for silence. "Hello, Les." She startled. He occupied the swing. With the porch light off, she hadn't noticed him. "Jesus, Kenny, you scared me. Let's head inside." "No, stay here with me a bit. Let's enjoy the breeze." He gestured to the spot beside him on the swing. "Where were you? You said you were here, but you weren't when I got back." She squirmed uneasily on the swing. "Oh, I couldn't sleep. I remembered I was low on gas, so I went to the corner market." The car only had a quarter tank, she hoped he wouldn't check. He reached for her hand. "Really? I could have sworn you just got back from the Hideaway Motel on 5th Avenue, room 69. Funny, huh? That's the room, isn't it? Jerry's a little superstitious about these things." "Isn't that where you usually meet every Thursday from 6:30 to 9 o'clock? She gasped, attempting to retract her hand, but he held it firmly. "Calm down, Les. I won't harm you, but I need you to promise to hear me out without interruption. I'll let you speak afterward. Can you do that?" "Okay." She hunched over, feeling small, and sniffled audibly. He continued speaking in a subdued, monotone voice. "When I first heard about it, I couldn't believe it. One of your friends spotted you, but I don't know who. She sent me an email from a public account. I brushed it off initially, but the idea stuck with me, spreading like weeds in my mind until I had to confront it. So, I investigated. Luckily, I had a friend looking after the house. It was awful to ask him, especially since he's a friend to both of us. It might have cost me his friendship. Seeing him struggle with his emotions as he shared everything briefly was heart-wrenching. He even had photos of you both coming in and out of the motel room, with hello and goodbye kisses. Thankfully, he didn't recognize the man. He avoids me now. I think he still sees the pain he witnessed on my face that day. Soft sobs broke out. She attempted to speak, but he gently silenced her with his fingers. Hush. You promised to listen first. He held her fingers until he felt her nod slightly. Good. I won't linger. The porch light was off, only the faint glow through the living room curtains illuminated the scene. Though his voice remained steady, his face betrayed anguish, but in the darkness, she couldn't see it. When he showed me the pictures, it felt like my heart shattered, the sound almost deafening. But as I thought about it, I needed to understand why. Why would you both do this to us? For the first time, his composure faltered, and a trembling sob escaped his lips. He took a deep breath, trying to compose himself. Your own sister, Leslie. How could you? When your mom passed away, she stepped up and practically raised you. You should remember, at 15, the last thing she wanted was to care for a 9-year-old. But she did it, sacrificing dates, dances, and school events to be there for you. Your father told me once that one year, money was so tight she skipped Christmas so you could have gifts under the tree. She loved you like a daughter more than a sister. You know she'll find out eventually. Even if she deserves the truth, I'll never tell her. I love her too much to hurt her like that. Maybe she can forgive Jerry. She's the best woman I know, but to forgive you, Les? I'm not sure if her heart is that big. Tears streamed down her cheeks, gathering momentum and volume as she grasped the consequences of her actions. She recalled the thrill, the arrogance of keeping the secret, of getting away with it. It all seemed so immature now. Her mind raced to find ways to mend the damage, desperately hoping for a solution. How could she have been so foolish? But deep down, she knew he loved her enough to forgive anything. It was her safety net, her justification, believing that even if she were caught, he'd never abandon her. Doubt crept in for the first time. I should have figured it out, Les. Why it was eating away at me. So, I planted something in your purse. Remember that cool little flashlight I got you? It was also a voice-activated recorder. It's crazy what you can buy online these days. You know what got me? There was no real connection between you two. It was like, let's get this done and get back to our families. Once, he even called it getting a quick fix, and you laughed and agreed. If it meant so little to both of you, why bother? Strangely, it gave me hope. If it meant so little, maybe it would end soon. If it did, I'd keep your affair secret forever. I had a plan. I was going to change my routines, make it tough for you to meet. I thought if I made it hard to get together, dropped hints to scare you, you'd just give up. I even took the recorder out of your purse. But then I made a mistake. I listened. You want to know why I cried when you said you were ready to have our baby? It was because of that. To me, it meant your affair was over. He paused, holding her hand, quieting her attempts to speak, reminding her she'd have her chance later. After a pause, he continued. Then I listened to the damn tape. It was your downfall, Les. I heard you tell him it was the last time. When did he mention forever? I swear I heard angels, but they were demons rejoicing. If you can't recall your reply, I still have the tape. He pressed a button on the recorder, and she heard her world shattering with her own words. Of course not, Jerry. Long enough to conceive. I love him, and I want to ensure it's his child. 2 weeks after the doctor confirms my pregnancy, you'll be back in action. We might need to meet more often. My friends say pregnancy makes you constantly aroused. Just be grateful Kenny will be there to pick up the slack. Even in the darkness, Kenny noticed her pale complexion. Her rapid, shallow breaths hinted at hyperventilation. He waited for her breathing to steady. You can't imagine the thoughts that crossed my mind, Les. Horrible things. Things so wicked and vile, I'm ashamed they even entered my head. I wanted to ruin you. Maybe even harm Jerry, inflict a slow, agonizing demise. Eventually, I calmed down and thought logically. Over the last 2 weeks, I've pondered my plan. It took time, but I devised the perfect revenge. I bet you're curious, aren't you, Les? She was terrified. Well, my dear, here it is. It's simple. I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner. You won't be able to love me anymore. It won't be Kenny and Les anymore. It's just Kenny, just Leslie. We're no longer united. We'll never have children. The 2 daughters I dreamed of, hoping to bring more of you into the world, will never exist. A boy with your grace and my stature will never exist. We won't attend Lamaze classes together. I won't massage lotion onto your belly to prevent stretch marks. I won't hold your hand and cut the umbilical cord in the delivery room. Experiencing baby illnesses, sending them off to school, celebrating graduations, and college won't happen. No talks about the birds and the bees. No cheering at sports victories. No comforting them in defeat. No teaching them to drive. No sleepless nights worrying when they start dating. No grandchildren. When your hands tremble so much you can't cut the cake for our golden anniversary, I won't help you steady them. You won't make me sad, and I won't make you sad. When one of us passes away, this cherished house, we won't buy it together. It won't hold memories of us anymore. Finally, tears welled up in his eyes. You've destroyed us, Les, just like pulling a trigger. I've thought about it a lot. I'm tired of thinking, tired of crying, tired of feeling lost and alone. Somewhere out there, there must be a good woman seeking a man whose only talent is to love her wholly, knowing his love and trust won't be betrayed. Not next week, not next month, but soon, Les. Soon, I'll start looking. She must be out there. He released her hand and rose, absent-mindedly brushing off his pants. I'm leaving now, Les. I've already taken what I came for. It was very little. I didn't want anything to remind me of you. I didn't take a single picture of you or us together. I have enough memories to last a lifetime. Reaching the edge of the porch, he turned back. I hope you find someone, Les. Just remember, when you do, I won't leave town or change jobs, so we may run into each other. Please spare me the embarrassment of conversation. I'll exit quietly if possible, loudly and rudely if necessary. One last thing before I go. It's your responsibility to inform your family. You created this mess, clean it up however you see fit. Just don't pin it on me. Simply say it didn't work out, and I'll support your decision. Oh, I almost forgot. One more thing. Tell Jerry to steer clear of me. If he spots me in a bar, restaurant, or anywhere public, he should leave. I have no intention of causing you harm physically, but he doesn't deserve anything, and honestly, I'm not sure I can control my anger. As he approached the car, the shock began to wear off. Rushing toward him, she seized his arm. Wait, please wait. You said I could speak when you were finished. Please, sit back down, let me explain, plead if necessary. I promise I'll never touch anyone else again. He gently withdrew her hand. Les, never, I mean never, touch me again. I just did what I swore I'd never do to you. I lied. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to hear your explanations or excuses. I don't want to hear your promises. We're done, Les. You have no idea how sorry I am. Without another word, he got into his car and drove away. She remained on the porch steps, crying uncontrollably as he departed. I hope you enjoyed this story. Please subscribe to the channel for new stories.